Welcome to the Township Council meeting, Monday, May 22nd, 2023. This meeting is now called to order. Councilwoman Patel, can you lead us in the flag salute, please?
One nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Ms. Cynthia, please call the notice.
Take notice that adequate notice of this meeting has been provided in accordance with NJSA 10:4-8 and NJSA 10:4-10 as follows. Notice of the meeting was prominently posted on the bulletin board at the municipal building located at 225 Main Street, Little Falls, New Jersey on January 5th, 2023. Copy of the notice was mailed to the North Jersey Herald and News and the Record on the same date. Additionally, a copy of the notice was filed in the office of the township clerk on said date. A link and a telephone number to join the meeting virtually can be accessed on the township website at www.lfnj.com. Electronic provisions have been established for the public to participate during the public comment portion of the meeting.
Thank you. At this time, please call the roll.
Councilmember Patel.
Present.
Councilmember Murphy.
Present.
Councilmember Hablitz.
Present.
Councilmember Vanchery.
Present.
Council President Scoba.
Present. If the council has no objections, I'd like to have a motion to approve the meeting, minutes of the meeting of April 24th and May 8th.
So moved.
Moved by Councilman Murphy, second by Councilman Vanchery. This is a roll call for the minutes of April 24th and May 8th. Please call the roll.
Councilmember Patel.
Yes.
Councilmember Murphy.
Yes.
Councilmember Hablitz.
Yes.
Councilmember Vanchery.
Yes.
Council President Scoba.
Yes. At this time, Mayor Daniano, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Council President. This evening, there's a couple of items under my report. The first is under the Environmental Commission this year. I'd like to appoint Charles Sieber to a 3-year term, as well as on the Planning Board. I'd like to appoint Charles Sieber as a Class 2 Environmental Commission member to a 1-year term, and on the Planning Board, appoint Kevin Barry as a Class 4 member to a 4-year term. Any questions from the council? That's all that I have under my reports, other than to say that the streetscape on another news, the streetscape is continuing to move along. This week, our streetscape contractor is going to be working 4 10-hour days and not working on Friday with the holiday coming up, looking to get an extra day in. So they are going to be getting 40 hours worth of work in. They are finishing up what will be the last section now of real work in town in completing the streetscape. The portion right in the intersection of Stevens Ave is going to be slightly delayed for some time because they are waiting on the traffic lights to actually be delivered. And unfortunately, the traffic lights, I am told, are on back order until about November. I am hopeful that I am being lied to and that the real delivery date is long before that, and that they're telling me November, but I'm really excited when they arrive much sooner than that. But I'm being told that they are on back order until about November. October being one of the earlier delivery dates. But so the streetscape will be wrapping up. The next steps will be having, again, the area in front of Casa Toro and Taco Affair in that area finished momentarily within the next week or two. After that, the PSC&G will be hopefully coming into town soon to install all of the street lights themselves and replacing all of the Cobra heads on the poles and all of those sections with decorative Cobra head poles that hopefully will be able to, again, just kind of bring a nicer flair to our downtown. We will also have new decorative street signs coming in. So unfortunately, the eyesore that we currently have with 400 cones and barrels up and down Main Street is because it is covering all of the bolt patterns for all of the decorative signs that will soon be installed. That will bring a much better taste and look to our downtown Little Falls than yellow and reflective cones and barrels. So that should be incoming relatively soon, and I'm looking forward to that improvement hitting our downtown relatively soon. Again, hopefully within the next couple of weeks, the real construction will be concluded until it's time for our traffic light to be installed, hopefully much sooner than November. But that's all I really have as far as an update this evening, unless there's any questions.
Mayor, can you tell the council how the traffic sticks are working that have been installed recently? And also, we see that you have a town hall coming up on Patterson Ave, if you would give the details on that.
Sure. As far as the traffic, the safety sticks, they have been a tremendous success. They allow our police department to have eyes in areas essentially 24/7 where we have had major issues with parking violations, with parking infractions, and it allows us to have eyes there again, round the clock, 24/7, and they can be reviewed by our police department after the fact and tickets to be issued. They have been working out well. They are in areas where parking has presented issues for us. But again, having a police officer have to respond there, to have to deal with it, presents additional issues, and it takes away from the manpower that we have on the streets. I'm sure Chief Paul can speak to the exact number of tickets that have been issued over the past couple of weeks, because I know within the first couple of weeks, I know there was 50 some odd issued within just the first couple weeks of them being live. And I'm sure that number has grown dramatically since then. I know it's not reviewed on a daily basis, but they do, every week or so, review the number of violations and issue tickets through the safety sticks. They have been a tremendous success for us, and they hopefully over time will encourage hopefully residents and non-residents to learn, don't park in no parking zones, and just simply obey the signs that are there and the striping on the roads, and you won't have issues. So that was certainly a success so far. And Chief Paul, do you know the specifics or semi-specific numbers on those lately?
I know when we went live with it just a couple of weeks ago, we went back a 2-week period and 70 summonses were issued in a 2-week period. Some of them were repeat offenders. Maybe they just thought that it was, we weren't going to issue summonses. And just to the mayor's point, where they are installed is mostly around our crosswalks. So what the goal is to obviously change behavior and not have people park so close to the crosswalks. It'll increase the visibility that the pedestrians can view the vehicles and vice versa. And, cars hopefully can see pedestrians a little bit better. So far, successful. My goal ultimately would have no summonses issued at one of these devices, because then we've really changed the behavior and, kept the crosswalk safe.
Right. To the chief's point, one of the major concerns that I and the police department have received over the years has been, I step into a crosswalk and vehicles don't stop. And unfortunately, sometimes that may not be a driver's fault if they don't have good visibility of the person entering a crosswalk, because cars are parked illegally in the street, blocking a driver's view. So it may not be that driver's fault in particular. So by introducing these safety sticks and changing the behavior of people parking in close proximity to these crosswalks, we are hopefully improving safety for the pedestrians that are using the crosswalks, and changing the behavior of those who are parking, making it more dangerous for those pedestrians. So again, this is hopefully going to have a positive impact over time here throughout the municipality. And for those who have a difficult time learning, unfortunately, it will probably cost them a couple of dollars over the next handful of years to deal with this issue in parking too close to crosswalks. If there are any other issues, or I should say areas in the future where people see major issues with this, and I know our police department has a number of areas in mind where additional parking sticks may be introduced over the next year or so. We're certainly open to additional suggestions with that. You can always make the suggestions online on our online portals. We'll take them into consideration and potentially proceed with introducing them in those areas. So certainly open to some, again, suggestions over time. And Council President, with respect to the upcoming town hall, on May 31st, I will be hosting a town hall at the Civic Center at 7 p.m. About Patterson Ave and whether or not any changes should be made to that area and the surrounding areas of Maple Street, Main Street, and in Patterson Ave and that triangular area there, and whether or not one-way roads should be introduced to the area. I'll be talking about some of the benefits and some of the detriments of changing that area, whether it be public safety, whether it be additional parking spots, or whether it be doing nothing at all. So I want to get the input of all of the residents in town. I want to see what everybody is largely in favor of. I want to have an open forum to really get the input from everybody to see what everybody really wants. It seems that there are a lot of people with torn ideas and perspectives on this area. There's certainly some benefits to each and every one of the potential, solutions in this area. but I want to vet them all out. I want to see what the majority of the residents here in town want. And eventually I want to implement whatever that ultimately is to really give us the best downtown. And if the ultimate solution is everybody believes leave well enough alone, that may very well be the direction we go. But if people are in favor of, big changes down there, that may also be the direction that we go. So everyone is free to join on May 31st at 7 p.m. at the Civic Center. It will also be live streamed on Zoom on this same link that we use for these meetings. It is in the email blast that is being sent out. There is, again, you can check the municipal website, lfnj.com for the link for this. But feel free to join. You will not be able to ask questions. It will be a one-way Zoom that evening. It will be, again, live streamed. You'll be able to watch. You'll be able to see. You'll be able to hear. You may not be able to see, again, or hear questions in the room as well. I'll try to repeat them. But feel free to join that evening virtually if you would like. But just please note, you will not be able to ask questions or you won't be heard if you do join that way. So if you do have a number of questions, you can certainly email me in advance and I'll try to get to them that way. But if you have other questions and you want to engage in a dialogue, I encourage you to be present that evening or send somebody with a list of the questions that you may have.
Mayor, it's been mentioned at this council before. Can you and your staff work on getting, is it called the Traco, the apparatus that we are going to put into the Peckman? Not sure if that's the correct name, but is there any movement? I know that's an expense, excuse me. Yeah, I know that's an expensive piece. I mean, I know that's a hard piece of equipment to move around, but we've been pretty fortunate, the community, without flooding. But since we have that piece of equipment, when can we anticipate maybe that going into the Peckman and working on that?
Yeah, I believe we are in the process of pulling emergency permits to get that apparatus back into the river. In order to do so, we do need some permitting through DEP and a couple of other, of the state organizations. I do know we have one of our engineering firms working on getting the permitting to complete that process so that we can get it back into the river so that we can, at least get the shoals off to the sides again. So hopefully we'll have it back in the river relatively soon. I know we have at least one organization willing to help us and move the Traco to where we need to get it into the river in the worst parts where we will need to have it in action.
Thank you. Are there any questions, comments from the council?
I'm just going to say,
To the floor, Councilman Vanchery.
thanks, Mayor and Chief. The great thing about the sticks in the road too is the rec center sent out a notice to all of the parents, letting them know, especially because, most nights people are down there. And now what's happening is when someone parks there, you'll see 2 or 3 parents run up to that person, move your car. You're going to get a ticket. You cannot park there. So people are listening to what you put out there, and the ones that don't, hey, they're going to get a ticket, but appreciate you doing that. So it's definitely something that is good for the crosswalks. And Mayor, just had a question too about the streetscape, just in terms of what's next. Obviously what's going on now, what are we looking forward to potentially? Are we going left, right, on Main Street? So any updates there?
Yeah, great question. So we have, actually, I met with the engineer who is designing the streetscape, our municipal engineer, just last Friday. They are largely done with the design portion of Stevens Ave from Main Street up to Walnut, as well as Main Street from Lincoln and Maple, where it ends now, continuing up to Van Ness and that intersection now. As we continue east on Main Street and in that direction, it presents some unique issues because there's some driveways or curb areas that are extra long. For example, in front of where currently Main Line is and where the Knights Hall is, there's essentially parking lots without real sidewalks and things like that. So we're trying to work through some of the the unique hurdles that those portions of the streetscape present, and figuring out exactly how we accommodate a streetscape in those areas, where the decorative light poles will go, how we continue the aesthetics of the streetscape while ensuring that we don't eliminate every single parking spot for one of our businesses or one of our our Knights Hall or things like that. So I met with them just this Friday to kind of run through some of our thoughts and to try to narrow that down so that we can continue and get these next phases of our streetscape done. So hopefully we'll be able to continue to keep our streetscape moving, in both directions along Main Street in the future, and really have a connected Main Street from end to end at some point, from the top of Long Hill all the way down to the North Caldwell border through Singac. So that's the plan eventually over the next handful of years.
And then Mayor, just with the curb cut over on Main by Wilmore as well, we're going to add that crosswalk once we get to that stage, correct, based on our conversations with the county.
So yeah, that's another thing that we are looking to do as we move along with our streetscape, is as we find areas that people like to cross the road now without there being a crosswalk there. The idea is to add crosswalks where they make sense and where they will increase pedestrian safety. So adding a couple of crosswalks as we continue with all sections of the streetscape is certainly something that we continue to look into.
Thanks.
Thank you, Mayor. We'll move on. Have a motion to approve the following mayor's appointments. This is for the planning board. I'm sorry, Counselor. Well, it's the following, so it's listed on our agenda as all three, as all both. I'm sorry, moved by Councilwoman Hablitz, second by Councilman Vanchery. This is a roll call. Mrs. Kraus, call the roll.
Councilmember Patel? Yes. Councilmember Murphy?
Yes.
Councilmember Hablitz? Councilmember Vanchery?
Yes.
Council President Scova?
Yes. Councilwoman Patel, busy day today?
Thank you, Council President. So Little Falls, we had our first health resource fair at the Civic Center today. I just want to thank the vendors that were there, including the Clifton Health Department. We had Hackensack Meridian Mountainside Medical Center, Passaic County Department of Health, Totowa Urgent Care, Amplify, and the Passaic County Board of Social Services. So we're looking to bring more events to the residents here in Little Falls, and we're working on that. Upcoming events on May 30th, Hackensack Meridian is offering free glucose and blood pressure screenings from 2 to 4 in Clifton, as well as on June 8th, they're offering free eye screenings from 9:45 to 10:45 again in Clifton. That's about it for today.
Thank you. Thank you. Councilwoman Hablitz.
Thank you, Council President. A few library updates. The library is hosting a e-library navigation course. The library is offering a free half-an-hour one-on-one sessions to help you with apps and basic computer skills of navigating those e-library type applications on your phone or tablet. You can call the library to schedule an appointment. You'll call Joe, and you can find this information also on the library's website as well. Some events that are going on this week there. We have happy hour yoga that goes on Tuesday at 5:30. It's $5 each session and no registration is required. We also have our Rhyme Time Stories. That's going to be every Tuesday at 11 a.m. from May 9th through June 6th. You can register at the website. This event is for children 2.5 and under. The library will read stories, sing songs, and participation for the children through finger play and action rhymes. So that's a great event for the younger children. This weekend, we kicked off our farmers market. It was really a great day here in Little Falls. I'd like to thank the mayor and my fellow council members for being there to cut the ribbon for this year's market. For yesterday, we had over 20 vendors. We had a DJ and the addition of 2 new food trucks, which were a big hit. Thank you to Tyler from the Recreation Department, Tanya Sieber, and Michelle, our market manager, for all that they've done throughout the preparation for the market. And thank you to our DPW for the cleanup and setup. We had nearly 1,000 people come through the market yesterday. It was record breaking, and it was wonderful to see our community coming together and enjoying the market. This weekend coming, we are having a slide into summer. The slide will be a 20-foot inflatable slide that is free to bring yourself and your children and slide into summer with the farmers market. That's all I have. Thank you.
Councilman Chair.
Thanks, Council President. It's a busy week. First, congrats yesterday. The farmers market was great. Love the new vendors, a lot of food. I never had a croissant shaped like a waffle. You know, I don't eat sweets, and it was really good yesterday. Kudos to Mo and Jay for that. But even the farmer as well that you had, you know, thank you. Looking forward to it. This week, like I said, there's a lot going on, and I'll jump right into it. This Friday night, we have the concert in the park at 5:30. Pleased to say that, you know, everything is coming together nicely thanks to the support from the Little Falls Police Department as well as the Little Falls DPW. We're coordinating everything, you know, with all of our vendors that are going to be there. We'll have about 20 tables set up for various organizations and groups that are either selling some stuff or handing out some information. I did want to put it out there to this council. If you have any flyers with upcoming events, or if you're looking for membership or anything that you have going on, please give it to me. You can bring it on Friday. It's fine. I'm going to have a table set up. This way there's information, you know, whether it's, you know, the health department's going to have a table, so it's good. But, you know, Councilwoman Haviland's anything related to the farmer's market, the library's going to have a table as well. So it'll be there. But, you know, anything that we have to kind of promote the activities. And what we may also want to do is, and I'm looking at Mr. Cuccia, is maybe we print out a flyer that has about signing up to the township email blast. Because a lot of times you see on social media, well, I didn't get that email. Well, you know what? There is a township email blast. So if we can maybe print out a flyer as a reminder, so if people need to know what's going on around town, we can do that.
We'll send it to you.
Thank you. And then the next day is the parade. The weather looks promising, but you know, even if it is a little bit of rain, we plan on doing it. At a call earlier today with Herbrichta from the American Legion. We are all set. Officer Panola and I, as well as Ron Stell from the DPW department, have been working behind the scenes. We have a call tomorrow morning as well, coordinating, making sure from start to finish we're secure in terms of having the safety and everything we need. And then just a reminder too, once the parade is done, it usually finishes up around 11:15, 11:30. The annual Memorial Day services are going to take place, hosted by the American Legion. It's a chance for us to honor the men and women that gave the ultimate sacrifice. And just a reminder too, that after all the ceremonies, the Little Falls Masons will have their annual barbecue as well as the American Legion. So, you know, residents that are out there, please, you know, support both groups if you can. And of course, join us for the parade. We are going to have a lot of different participants this year. We have 2 bands. You know, we get Snake Valley High School finally after, you know, our 3-year annual trade up with the other 2 towns. And we also have the John F. Kennedy High School band. We will have classic cars. We will have a number of businesses with their vehicles. We have a number of different organizations that are going to participate. And for the kids that are watching at home, Santa Claus is also going to be there. So be on the lookout for Santa and some other surprises. You know, we're looking forward to it. And again, just thanks for all the support behind the scenes. I also wanted to mention, and the blast is going to go out this week, and I'll start posting the flyers as we get towards the end of May and we head to June. We are going to have our annual pride flag raising on Thursday, June 1st at 6 p.m. We'll send the flyer out. All are welcome to attend. So looking forward to another activity as we kick off the month of June in honor of Pride Week. I did want to also mention just pretty quickly, and I know that Chief Prawl can also maybe talk about this. You know, it's interesting when you go on social media, and I like to call it complaint book, especially the 3Town website, where, you know, you see a post that says, oh, the cops are doing a ticket blitz in front of ShopRite. If you didn't realize it, today starts the national blitz in the state of New Jersey, where 132 towns are participating. It's called Click It or Ticket. And it's really about safety because, you know, you should have your seatbelt on when you're in the vehicle, and you'd be surprised at the statistics. I just wanted to read a couple because when I see complaints like that and people spreading misinformation, it drives me nuts. As I mentioned, 132 towns are involved, including Little Falls, as well as other towns in Passaic County. But just to give people a perspective, 694 people were killed last year in crashes, and 40% of those deaths that were involved people not wearing a seatbelt. And if you look at the National Highway Safety Transportation reports, they said that 93% of the people actually wear their seatbelts when they're sitting in the front seat. But that number goes down drastically to 48% with everyone else, whether if you're in the sides, the front passenger side, or if you're in the back of the seat. So the reminder is when you see police out there making sure people know about this initiative, don't complain. It's actually something that could save your life. That's it for me.
Thank you, Councilman Vanchery. And Councilman Murphy, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Council President. Just 2 very quick updates. On the 2024 Township calendar, we did create some flyers. So those will be distributed at some town events. I know they'll be there on the table at Friday, and then we're also going to be doing an email blast on them. So definitely keep an eye out for that. Secondly, Council President was able to set a meeting with himself, Walt Kilpatrick, the chairman of the planning board, and myself. We had a very, very good discussion on streaming the planning board meetings. And so we hope to have that up and streaming by July. It was a very productive meeting. So I just want to thank you for setting that up and getting that plan moving forward. So thank you for that. That's all I have.
So Councilman Murphy, and I know Councilman Hablitz, we started this calendar. I mean, we're going to be on par to get it up and running in 2024, right? We're gonna,
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Okay. Senior advisory, ice cream socials coming up June the 28th from 1 to 3 at the Civic Center. We're going to have chocolate ice cream, vanilla ice cream, chocolate syrup, whipped cream, sprinklers, not cherries. Well, nuts, but the committee is in a problem. We don't know what the third flavor is going to be, whether it's going to be butterscotch, strawberry, or chocolate chip mint. So we're really having a dilemma with the third flavor. Any senior that's, or anyone that would like to have any input on that third flavor, reach out to me so I could get a better night's sleep.
Do we get to vote on that?
Yeah. Right. So again, that's June the 28th, 1 to 3. Out of town residents are $5. All seniors of Little Falls are free. And Chief, we hope that some of your members that day will come by and talk to the seniors. At this time, Chief, the floor is yours. I see we've got a couple of good, exciting programs coming up. If you'd fill us in, please.
Yes, sir. As Councilman Venturi spoke about, we did receive another enforcement grant from the state. So last month we had the 100 hours of enforcement. We'll be doing the Click It or Ticket campaign May 22nd to June 4th, and another 100 hours of enforcement. Cost the taxpayers $0, right? So that's coming from the state. So you'll see the officers out there. Again, we're just trying to change behavior, make sure that everybody's being buckled. Obviously, if they see some other violations, they're going to take appropriate action. But I'm happy to report that we did receive another enforcement grant. I just want to talk briefly about our rave notification system. I know this was something that the mayor and I had talked about in the past, as far as disseminating information on a wide scale across the township. In the past, we've used Nixle. We've migrated away from that platform. We had something that was called Code Red, and it just wasn't, it wasn't getting the the reach that we desired. So in conjunction with the mayor, we solicited other vendors that were out there, and we made a decision to move with this rave notification system. So I gave everybody a flyer, and I'll just, if I may, just touch briefly on the lists and the groups and what the purpose of the platform is. So as people go up, and we're going to push this out through our community policing unit, now's the great time of the year because everybody's more active in the warmer weather. Community policing tents will be set up at the concerts in the park, 4th of July, when we do the street fair. So you're going to see Officer Vanek out there with a flyer that looks like so. So anybody can scan the QR code, and they will bring them to the Little Falls portal. Any resident is going to have the option to sign up for different lists. The lists that we've come up with are the Little Falls Library, messages from the mayor, police department non-emergency, recreation department, township announcements, traffic incidents and road closures, and weather and Office of Emergency Management. Now, there will be certain users who have the ability to control those lists. And as long as a resident wants to sign up and get the information, Tyler from Recreation can target just the people that signed up for the recreation information. All the council people will have access to the township announcements. So if you want to put things out from the health department or the senior advisory, as long as people signed up and they say, yes, text me about this event, we can push those notifications to them. The police department is going to handle weather along with Sergeant Gianduso on the Office of Emergency Management front, but we're gonna spearhead the traffic incidents and road closures. So if you're a commuter and you want to know when there's a crash on the highway that's going to potentially, affect your commute, you sign up for that list. We'll have the ability on the police department side, and we're the only ones that we can hit all the lists at one shot when it's something that affects public safety. So anything that could be dangerous to life or health, flooding, missing persons, things of that sort, we can mass notify all those different lists. So I figured, I'd talk about it tonight. If anybody had any questions about the program, we're going to advertise on our social media and it's going to go live and we're going to start to use it and disseminate information on this platform.
So Chief, you could sign up for all the lists on this portal. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. So when you register, it's going to give you the option. It's going to look like something like I have here. And you click on which lists that you want to get information from. So if you don't have any kids in the recreation department, you can opt out of that list. Just unselect the icon on the right when you register for the notification system.
Great. Thank you.
Yep.
Chief, you're gonna bring, oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Chief, you're gonna bring the floor, right? With Corporal Vanek, I'll have these at the table.
We're going to disseminate them at all of our community policing events going forward. There was one other thing, Council President, if I had another second, sorry to.
Operation Blue Angel.
Correct.
Right.
So Operation Blue Angel is an initiative that will be coming out through community policing. It's targeted for not just our senior citizens, but anybody that may be living at home that lives by themselves. And what it is, if you have the one copy of it. Any of us that have sold our houses, we know the real estate agents will put a lockbox, but this will be painted teal. It's for our senior citizens, and any officer that's responding to the house, so long as the resident, signs up for the program, it's all voluntary. What they'll do is we'll secure a resident's key inside of the box. Officers will have access to enter the main passcode in there, and then we could get into the home in case there was some type of an emergency. So we don't unnecessarily, have to wait for a key holder, try to contact a family member. If a resident is having a medical emergency, we think speed is of the essence. So this is a program that we're going to push out through community policing this summer.
Are there any questions on that last program? That's an exciting new program for our community. We all know that population is aging, and we have more senior citizens, I think, than ever before, and also more that live alone, which is challenging. And unfortunately, sometimes their children move away to different states and don't have quick access to their home. And even if you're close, if you're 2-3 towns away, that's going to be too long. So this is a 24/7 operation that your staff has available to not have to go back to the police headquarters and grab a key. They're able to access and get into that home immediately.
Yes.
Correct. Thank you. It's a great program. Thank you, Mayor, for putting that forth. Mayor, I want to circle back, just got into the Peckman. Do we have any updates on our new pump station, when that may be coming closer to being online? If not, maybe at the next council meeting, we could get an update on that.
I can certainly get more information on that. I know we have one of our engineering firms working on the completion of that pump station. I know also council was working on finalizing everything with that property there. I believe that has concluded. I believe we are completed with that. Maybe we can turn it over to council for an update on that property.
Just very briefly, Council President, the township owns that property by way of condemnation. We've owned it. The only open issue that put some cloud on it was there was a ongoing dispute between the former property owner and the DEP. Not that it directly affected us, but an order actually was entered a week or two ago because the property owner didn't respond to the DEP's various demands and motions. Court closed out the condemnation order and has released the money to the DEP rather than to the property owner, which really doesn't affect us in any way, shape, or form, because we paid for the property and it was up to the court to decide who the proper payee was. And just like if you have a home with a mortgage, obviously the mortgage has to get paid. And then you get the proceeds here. In this sense, the DEP had a multi-million-dollar lien against this property owner, and they received the funds through the court. So there is no, from the legal side, there is no impediment in any way, shape, or form. And I'm assuming that the rest is all about engineering.
Great. Yeah, I know Mr. Cucci was following up with the engineers most recently with that as well.
Council President, I spoke with the engineers because we've waited such a long time to complete this condemnation. We've made some improvements to it on an operational basis. They were looking at that pump station as well as the Singac pump station. So right now they're taking a look as to see which one is which one is the pump station that is in more need of repair on a complete basis than it was in the past. But because it's taken us quite a while to get the land, we've made some improvements from operational costs. So we're looking at which one we should go to at this point in time. It might not be Woodcliff, it might be Singac.
Council, have any questions regarding that? Mary, you have any other topics as we head into Memorial Day?
You know, I do, especially as we go into Memorial Day here, and I know as the weather warms up, this week, starting yesterday, actually, May 21st, actually kicked off what is EMS week, and it's May 21st to May 27th, and it's EMS week here in the U.S. And it is now 7 years that we have gone to a full-time paid EMS program here in Little Falls. And I will say, from a response time in Little Falls, we have never been in better shape than we are now. I hear from so many towns who still rely on their volunteers that they are oftentimes waiting for 30 or 40 minutes for volunteers to show up when there are major medical issues that they are dealing with. And I hear from police departments in surrounding towns that they can oftentimes be waiting 20, 30, 40 minutes for an ambulance to show up in order to assist a resident. And not only is it impacting that resident getting the medical care that they need, but it's affecting the rest of the town from having the support from the police department that they need because police are tied up at that scene. And our EMS crews here in Little Falls have been nothing short of fantastic. Our response times are under 5 minutes, under the state standards, and we have had the absolute best care provided to our residents over this period of time. And I am absolutely thrilled that this week is EMS week, and it is certainly something that we should celebrate of our EMS crew here in Little Falls. And I want to thank all of our EMTs here in Little Falls for everything that they do day in and day out, much like all of our other first responders working nights, weekends, holidays, doing everything that they do to respond to every single call that comes in. So thank you to all of our EMTs in town, especially during EMS week, but every other week as well.
Councilor Renzo?
Nothing to report, Council President.
You have a motion to open to the public for agenda items only. That's moved by Councilman Vanchery, second by Councilwoman Hablitz. This is a voice vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Mrs. Kraus?
Anyone wishing to address the Township Council may do so through the Council President. It is preferred if you give your name and address for the record. Comments are to be limited to 3 minutes. However, if appropriate, it may be granted additional time in the sole discretion of the Council President. Members of the public who have joined the meeting virtually and desire to provide comment shall raise their virtual hand in the Zoom application. The meeting moderator will cue the members of the public that wish to provide comment, and the Council President will recognize them in order. Members of the public who have joined the meeting by calling in must press *6 to mute and unmute themselves and *9 to raise their hand. Members of the public who have joined the meeting via the Zoom application must click the reactions icon and then the raise hand icon. Once the process is complete, we'll return to the regular order of business.
Thank you, Mrs. Kraus. Anyone in our audience like to come forward? Mr. Krusha, anyone on the chat? Have a motion to close the public comment. Moved by Councilman Vanchery. Who is the second? Second by Councilman Patel. This is a voice vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Have a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Moved by Councilwoman Hablitz.
Second.
Second by Councilman Murphy. This is a roll call to approve the consent agenda. Mrs. Kraus, please call the roll.
Councilmember Patel?
Yes.
Councilmember Murphy?
Yes.
Councilmember Hablitz?
Yes.
Councilmember Vanchery?
Yes.
Council President Scoba.
Yes, Mrs. Kraus, at this time, please read ordinance 1459.
Second reading and public hearing of ordinance number 1459, an ordinance entitled Bond Ordinance to authorize the undertaking of various public improvements and the acquisition of new, additional, or replacement equipment and machinery in, by, and for the Township of Little Falls in the County of Passaic, State of New Jersey, to appropriate the sum of $350,000, to pay the cost thereof, to make a down payment, to authorize the issuance of bonds to finance such appropriation, and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of such bonds.
Thank you. The public hearing on ordinance 1459 is now open. Does anyone wish to speak on 1459? Mr. Kusha, anyone in the chat? Seeing no one wants to come forward, the public hearing on ordinance 1459 is now closed. Can I have a motion to adopt 1459?
So moved.
Moved by Councilman Murphy, second by Councilman Vanchery. Please call the roll to adopt 1459.
Councilmember Patel?
Yes.
Councilmember Murphy?
Yes.
Councilmember Hablitz,
Yes.
Councilmember Vanchery?
Yes.
Council President Scoba.
Yes. Can I have a motion to open the meeting to public for general matters? Moved by Councilman Vanchery,
Second.
second by Councilman Murphy. This is a voice vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Mrs. Cross?
Anyone wishing to address the Township Council may do so through the Council President. It is preferred if you give your name and address for the record. Comments are to be limited to 3 minutes. However, if appropriate, you may be granted additional time in the sole discretion of the Council President. Members of the public who have joined the meeting virtually and desire to provide comment shall raise their virtual hand in the Zoom application. The meeting moderator will cue the members of the public that wish to provide comment, and the Council President will recognize them in order. Members of the public who have joined the meeting by calling in must press *6 to mute and unmute themselves and *9 to raise their hand. Members of the public who have joined the meeting via the Zoom application must click the reactions icon and then the raise hand icon. Once the process is complete, we will return to the regular order of business.
Thank you, Mrs. Cross. The floor is now open.
John Bettery, 110 Ridge Avenue. I would like to suggest, in furtherance of the comments earlier, that the mayor and the council president appoint a task force with respect to the third flavor. Very happy to serve on the task force. That's my competence.
That's what you came out for, Mr. Veteran? Okay. Anyone in the chat? I have a motion to close the public comment. Moved by Councilman Hablitz, second by Councilman Vanchery. All those that want to close the public comment do so by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed do so by saying nay. Motion carries. I have a motion to go into executive session for discussion for public safety matters. No action will be taken.
So moved.
Moved by Councilman Murphy, second by Councilman Patel. This is a voice vote. All those in favor of going into executive session do so by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed do so by saying nay. Motion carries. We're good?
Yeah.
Okay. Can I have a motion to return to open session?
So moved.
Moved by Councilman Vanchery,
Second.
second by Councilwoman Hablitz. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed do so by saying that motion carries nay. Motion carries. Can I have a motion to adjourn this meeting?
So moved.
Moved by Councilman Murphy,
Second.
second by Councilman Vanchery. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Action. You want to state?
state for the record that matter involving contractual matters were discussed in executive session. No action is being taken tonight. Direction was given to administration.
Thank you. Make sure the minutes state that. Thank you. Have a motion to adjourn this meeting again?
So moved.
Moved by Councilman Murphy,
Second.
second by Councilman Vanchery. All those in favor of adjourning the meeting do so by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed do so by saying nay. This meeting is now closed.